Martin, when you look at it then, Manchester United, they've already got one in the bag, of course. They won the Carabao Cup. They're coming up in the rails in the Premier League. They're in this thing. They're in the Europa League. So if they see off Sevilla, of course, they would be taking on the winners of Juventus Sporting Lisbon. They're still in the FA Cup, of course, as well. What do you think? Do you think this could be a dramatic end in a good way for everybody who follows Manchester United?
Yeah, it could very well be. I mean, despite the hammering in the second half against Liverpool, it's been up and up for the football club since Ten Hag has arrived. So it's really been really great news. They're in at the business end of competitions now at the moment. And I think that they would have been delighted with the draw now today. Sevilla, again, anything can happen. It's a month away, as you just said, Julien. So lots of those things can happen. But if I was Man United, that's the draw I would have loved. Yeah,
I mean, Simon, you famously said, I'm not sure about the suit that Ten Hag wears. Well, the suit fits now, as we've said.
What I said was that I don't think he's fit. He looks like a small man in a big suit because his posture after the games wasn't that of a leader. Wasn't chest out, shoulders back and all that sort of stuff. Now he's got a hold of the side. Obviously, you make an initial assumption. If you don't change your mind further down the line with different information, then you're a fool, aren't you? So he has affected my mindset by affecting the outcomes of his team.
Yeah, I mean, Julien, there is not a United fan either in this country or throughout Europe, and you'll have bumped into a few of them in your travels, who don't think that Ten Hag fits the bill now. He is the right man for the job, no matter what tournament they're in.
Yeah, of course, and I think the rebuilding job that he's doing, that still needs a bit more investment, that still needs working on, is on track, and maybe he's even ahead of where we thought he would be by now, by March, especially when you think that Brighton and Brentford destroyed them in the first 2 games of the season. So where they are now is a credit to himself, the work that he's done, the decision that he had to make with Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, dropping Marcus Rashford for being late at a team meeting. All those kind of stuff I think matters in a dressing room like the one at United, that I think that had been missing for quite a while.
Do you know what, Julien? It's a great point you made, especially on the Ronaldo thing, Martin. We saw what Ten Hag did. He played that one with a very strong hand. It was Ronaldo who left the football club. We saw what Arteta did with Aubameyang at Arsenal. Exactly. So you're not for us, you're gone. Would you ever have dispatched a maverick at your club?
Well, do you know, yes, that's not a problem at all, particularly if the Maverick's not doing well. But what follows is the most important thing. You know, when you got yourself into involvement with some, let's say Arteta, Aubameyang. Actually, I always felt that he was only one winner anyway, because I didn't think Aubameyang was doing enough anyway. And then, of course, he's been late for training. He's been all of those particular things, and he's upsetting everyone around about the place. But I suppose the players were still looking to see what the manager would do with it. And Arteta, he called it right. Then what he did he do after that? He started to win. They win matches. That's the most important thing. Then your decisions seem to be right when you win. If you don't win, then you might have other things on your other things to consider. Let me put it this way. But to me, it was a no-brainer what Arteta did there, and eventually, Ten Hag, I think, his feeling with Ronaldo was, well, listen, if this is confrontation, I'm going to have to come out. I'm the manager. I'm going to have to deal with this here. And not only that I'm going to have to win after that. And he's done that.
Do you like his style, Martin? His authority?
I
the
don't know
way that he applies it.
I don't know him. He seems he seems pretty solid. He looks as if he knows what he wants from the players. And he looks as if he's getting that respect as well too. So, so far so good. Other than that second half against Liverpool.
I just glanced at Simon there, and you were turning your nose up.
Well, I think he lucked out on the Ronaldo situation. Because
what do you mean lucked out?
I don't think he dealt with it at all. I think Ronaldo dealt with it. I think Ronaldo went and did an interview with Piers Winfrey and created it and set the thing on fire. There was nothing for Man United to do there on afterwards. The situation was taken out of Ten Hag's hands in the summer. And Sam Allardyce said to me, "What would you expect him to do?" He came out and said, "I want Ronaldo." Because I said, well, he said that. He said he wanted Ronaldo, and clearly he didn't. And Allardyce said, well, what would you do walking into Man United job? Say the first thing you're going to do is get rid of Ronaldo. Everyone would have been on your shoulders. I said, but if that's what you think, if that's what you mean, if that's what you're going to do as a manager, which is set your stall out, then yes, I would have expected you to do it. So I think he lucked out with Ronaldo. But as a result of it, what it's done is it's got, I think, a difficult influence out of the dressing room, and everyone else has fallen in line.
Well, how do you know that he didn't want Ronaldo?
I think it's pretty evident.
Well,
Would you put a player like Ronaldo on for 2 minutes against Tottenham Hotspur?
I know. I came on a program here and I agreed with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm totally with that. There, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that with Ronaldo. Honestly, I absolutely agreed with you at the time. But overall, I just felt that if he was going to take him on, yeah, you're also right in the sense that Ronaldo made it easier for him by doing the programme, and therefore...
Can we go down to Brian Clough mentality, which used to be that we'll start a conversation and we'll go around and agree that I was right in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Come on,
yes,
Martin.
Yes.
I'm backing you here.
But this is Brian Clough. This is not Simon Jordan.
Oh, did you spot that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Martin, well
Absolutely.
said. And just before we hit the bulletin, were you ever tested like that, Martin, like Ten Hag was? Obviously not on the scale of Ronaldo. But were you tested by a player you thought, do you know what, it's him and me, I'll need to flex a muscle here?
Well, I had when I was at Leicester City early on and I couldn't win a game to save my life, then there was commotion in the dressing room. I had an argument with a lad called Gary Parker, and Gary seemed to be taking the side of a player that I was giving some criticism to, and that's the way it seemed. And then supposedly cups were flying around about the place. I'm never wildly sure about that, but overall, yeah. But I'll tell you what, within 2 or 3 weeks, I started to realise that Gary Parker was not a barrackroom lawyer. He wasn't this here. He had a point of view. And I came around to thinking about it. And Gary Parker, when we got a penalty in the final of the in the playoff final against Crystal Palace, there is no person in this whole world that I would rather have taken that penalty than Gary Parker. Parker scored the penalty for us. We equalised, and then we got a late goal, and we got promotion. So what I'm saying to you is, sometimes you have to think, wait a minute. Maybe I misjudged it, and maybe I misjudged it because you're under pressure to get a result. All of those particular things, But I changed my mind about Parker, and Parker was brilliant.
Yeah. Julien, before we hit the 12:30 bulletin, West Ham got into this competition, the draw for the last 8. That if Martin had his way or Simon had his way, nobody really should want to win it. West Ham got into it. If Moyes gets his way and they end up winning it, and they end up staying in the Premier League, that would constitute a good end to what's been an indifferent season.
Completely, you're right, and they are the favourites, or amongst the favourites, to go and win this competition. And I understand the point that Simon and Martin made on that competition, but if you see the amount of West Ham fans that travel to Cyprus to play Larnaca, for example, who are excited about that competition, and same with other clubs, it means a lot.
That doesn't make it good.
No.
It's just because a lot of fans turn up for the game, of course.
Yeah, but Martin, Julian's got a point. There's a message for you. I disagree with Martin on the Conference League. I'm a Leicester fan. I love being in the competition. It's a great chance to follow your team in Europe. You're unlikely to make the Europa League, so why not follow them in that?
I'm not going to change my mind. I just think that if you seriously,
right.
in 2 years' time, when you avoid relegation, you will go straight into Europe. You will. That's the. But they're making up competitions along the way.
You diminish the effect of it. Elite teams playing elite tournaments. If you give it to everybody, what does it become? Yeah. It becomes nothing about it. It becomes elite. So I'm entirely with him.
But the elite is the Champions League, and then second tier,
and maybe the
third
Cup
tier.
Winners' Cup.
So, Martin, as a manager, if you won the Europa Conference League, what would you be doing? Slinging your medal into the crowd?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not at all. I mean, Roma celebrated it last year as if it was the Champions League. And it's Roma Football Club celebrating like that there. It's a competition. It's been invented or reinvented, or it's been stuck up there for a competition. And I have no reason, or I have no idea why it's been put there in the first place. But okay, fine. But it is. I mean, if you're starting to talk about, I won a competition in Europe. What did you win? You won the Champions League? No, I didn't win the Champions. Oh, you must have won the Europa League. No, actually, I didn't win that either. So no. What did you win? Well, we won this new competition called the Europa Conference League, and then the competition that's going to be after that is going to be called the Europa Conference League again. So
well, none of the other than Julien in here has won the Eurovision Song Contest. So I mean, what are we talking about here? Coming up to 12:30.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.